Temu, let's talk about this app. Are there actually survival preparedness items that you should take a second look at on the app? I think there are. Now, Temu has got this reputation, and I think rightly so, that it is cheap and therefore low quality, or that it's Chinese and there's cybersecurity risks. There's a lot of concerns about the app itself. We're going to talk about those in this video, but there's actually some items where I think the quality is either not that critical or the quality is actually pretty good on Temu. So we're going to dive into this today. What are those items you should take a second look at? What are the items to absolutely avoid? And is it even worth it to look at all these items on Temu? Coming up. All right, guys, so there's a lot of different things that you could say about Temu. There's a lot of different things that you could talk about when it comes to prepping. There's so many items for us to prepare and get into our preps, and a lot of the time that can take a lot of money. So people begin to consider Temu. Is it worth a look for us? Is there actually an option where Temu, which has a lower price, has a lower overall cost, could be worth it? I think there are. There are 5 items that we're going to take a look at today, and some items to avoid, of course, right? And so if we take a look into the Reddit threads, as we do on this channel, where we learn from the wisdom of the crowd. We have so much information out there, so many different topics, but we need some wisdom to cut through it all and to boil it down. And so on Temu, is Temu worth exploring? In the preppers thread, there was this question, and there's ads for it popping up everywhere. Has anybody tried this? Has anybody had any good luck? We're buying off Temu. And so basically where the preppers landed on this, on the threads, is that there's a lot of quality concerns, right, around Temu. And there's also, is it shipping delays or random substitutions? There's a lot of things you could talk about with it, but if you can press past the cybersecurity potential risks, I actually think that's not that big of a deal. You can use a VPN or some things around that. But if you can press past those pieces, is it actually worth it to get things on Temu? I think it is, and so we're going to talk about that now. What are some top items that where quality is not an issue, or it's actually just worth pressing through this to talk about some items that you could actually use in some other ways? Let's talk about this. So number 1 on the list is paracord. So paracord paracord lanyards, these are so helpful for survival. And these bracelets, and if you haven't seen this before, this is a paracord bracelet, where a paracord, which can be used in so many different ways, whether that is building a tent and you need some way to tie things down, you need a way things to rope things off. There's so many different ways that you might need to tie up things or tie things together. Paracord steps in that moment. And so you can get paracord in lots of places, right? But why look at it on Temu for rope, for lashing, all these things? It actually offers a quality option, because paracord is paracord. It's not going to be low quality on Temu versus somewhere else, and so quality is not a critical factor on this, and it's more about quantity than it is about quality when it comes to paracord. So I actually think it's worth taking a look at paracord on the platform, and it's affordable and it's portable, so why not take a look at this? And they've got a lot of different options, different styles, including this one's even got like a little compass in it, but you can pick what you like. Paracord options. So that's number 1. I think paracord is worth a look. Okay, let's talk about number 2. Number 2 option you might take a look at on Temu, and that is a ferro rod. So when it comes to lighting and starting fires, ferro rods are a popular option. They're a popular way to learn how to start a fire. And so they can be really helpful in a survival situation where you may not have other options. They're reusable, all of those things. And they're budget friendly. You can even get multi-packs right here, right, on Temu. And they're great for a couple reasons. Now, hear me out. Now, if the quality is your concern here, these are great for practice or for redundancy. So these are a great backup option, even if they're not top tier. Or, hey, look, if you've never actually used a ferro rod before, when you get into that survival situation, you need to be able to know how to do it. So you can actually pick up a few on Temu as a way to practice and learn how to use the ferro rod, so that in that situation, you are ready to go. So you're going to want to check the reviews, of course, to make sure that they're decent quality on the app. But I think a ferro rod could definitely be an item that's worth taking a look. Let's talk about another item. Number 3 on the list is your multi-tool. So multi-tools. A multi-tool is critical to have in your survival situation, in your preps. Multi-tools have so many uses, obviously, with all the different items or different functions that they have, whether it's the saw, whether it's the can opener, the pliers, or a knife. And a multi-tool can be a perfect for a disposable kit if you're putting together a kit that you might not necessarily want to keep as your top gear kit, as maybe as a backup kit, or you might get rid of it along the way, or secondary gear. It's really great for these options. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can buy these different things on Temu. I would not buy this as my primary multi-tool, but as a backup option, may not be as durable, but as a backup option, I think a multi-tool is worth a look. Okay, so that's number 3. Okay, let's talk about number 4 on the list, and that would be the emergency blanket. So emergency blankets, when it comes to prepping, are super helpful, super key, because you can get into a situation where it's not great weather, you're cold, and having something even like this, a 56-cent Mylar thermal blanket off of Temu, can be worth the price. Or you could buy in bulk here, right? And so they're useful for warmth and shelter. They're low cost. They're disposable, of course. So this is another possibility here, that when you're buying different items, some of these items you want to think about not just in terms of quality, but disposability. Am I going to buy this and get rid of it quickly? It might be worth buying in bulk, in this case, off of Temu. So buy a few in bulk, and then you get rid of it. You're good, right? And so they're compact, they're lightweight, and you can get extras due to the cost and pack them in multiple packs for your family. So that's number 4. All right, number 5, maybe a little bit more controversial, and then I'm going to talk about the items that you want to for sure avoid. You're not going to want to miss that, so stick around for that. Number 5 is the tactical flashlight. So you can get tactical flashlights in a lot of places, and here's my argument for you on this one. Or we could also talk about, let's click over to this one, the headlamp. So whether it's the headlamp or the tactical flashlight, you need these items in your kit. Now, why would you buy these on Temu? It's very important to have a reliable lighting option in a situation like this. But the flashlights, the headlamps on Temu, they offer affordable solutions with basic functionality. So they're ideal as backup or as temporary lighting. Now, the reality is that this kind of tech has been getting better and better at lower and lower costs. Flashlights, now, if you're wanting to get a high quality beam to see a long distance and it's going to have a long durability, this is not your option, right? This is not what you're going to go to. But if you're looking for a backup option, which is always key to have a backup option when it comes to flashlights, Temu is a great option. You can get 5 or 10 little small ones. You could put a few in your everyday carry kits, putting them in your kids' kits. Then you know that they've got an option to use. If you don't want to break the bank on getting everybody the highest quality flashlight, this can be a really great option. Okay, so those are 5 options I would for sure take a second look at on Temu, but not every item on Temu, of course, is going to be that quality, or quality is going to be really important. What are some options in that category? Well, number 1 is going to be like a tent. If you need to get a tent, and you do as a part of your preps, that you don't already have one, a tent is not something you're going to want to buy off of Temu. For this kind of category of what to not get, here's what you need to look for. You need to think about what is mission critical. What is mission critical, and you need to have reliability, and you're going to use multiple times over time. And so there's a lot of people that could put out substandard or counterfeit items on Temu, and it's not worth the risk. Now, I think there's a lot of items on this list that are worth the risk, so that if you're in that situation and you've got a throwaway blanket or an extra backup flashlight, it's not that critical that you've got that in there. But if it comes down to it, you need to have a tent that works. That's pretty critical, right? Let's talk about 2 more things. Number 2, a sleeping bag goes right with the tent, right? You need a sleeping bag that works in a survival situation. This is not something to mess around with. You're going to want to spend some money and invest in a reputable outdoor brand or a surplus store if you want to try to save money. Make sure that you save money, but save it on something that's actually quality. Finally, the last thing I would throw out to you is a backpack. If you're trying to look for a bug-out bag to hold all your stuff, and it's like, well, I've got all the quality stuff, let's just get a bug-out bag. Maybe I can get one on Temu. I actually tried this. I tried this early on, so here's my personal story. I tried this, and I just didn't look at the specifications, and it was a very tiny little bag for the price. And so you got to be really careful, and then it ended up not actually being that worth it. It wasn't terrible quality. It wouldn't be something I would buy again, but it wasn't terrible quality. But at the end of the day, I kind of just realized, man, I don't know if it's even worth it to buy something like this off of Temu that is mission critical. So as you're thinking about items, you're going to want to think about items that are, here's again, like as we finish out this video, here's what you got to know. You got to know that you're going to pick items that are disposable or quality is not that critical to these items. And there's items like that you're going to want in your prepper kit, so you can consider those on Temu, maybe as a backup. And then as you're considering items not to get, definitely your mission critical items, the ones that you've got to make sure that are top quality, you're going to be reusing, you're going to be relying on in that situation. Make sure that you filter through and filter those out. All right, guys, we want to hear from you. If you have tried some things on Temu, leave those things in the comments. Subscribe to this video and leave a like on this video. And we'd love to hear from you. What are some items you've tried that have either worked or not worked? Would you use Temu? Let us know.